Nice to meet you all. I'm going to talk today for about 25 minutes about how to boost conversions with one-to-one personalization. And as he mentioned, I'm the CEO of Evergage. We're about a 6-year-old company that does real-time personalization. So we're a cloud platform that marketers use to personalize, use algorithms and the like to drive conversion. So let's talk about how to drive conversion. I actually want to pick up where Rand was talking. The smartest companies in the world, Google, Facebook, Twitter, Netflix, these kinds of companies, have decided to make all of the engagement on their sites and their conversion, because they too are driven by conversion, right? Based off of engagement, measuring users' intent and engagement, and then leveraging machine learning to optimize what's shown to those visitors in order to convert. And so my question to all of us is, if they're doing it, why aren't we? Why don't we take the exact same approach and optimize conversion on our own sites? So that's one reason we should think hard about real-time personalization for our sites and for conversion. Those companies are doing it and obviously having great success. The other is from our own visitors' experience. We live in a Netflix world. The people who are coming to our sites and apps and the like, they're using Apple every day. They're using Amazon every day. They're using Netflix every day. And I particularly like the Netflix example. We live in a Netflix world. What people are watching, every night during work, whatever, is driven to them on Netflix through a personalized feed, through a personalized experience. And their expectation for what other sites should be doing is driven by the ease and convenience of that. So we have to be moving to where the puck is or is going. When I'm on an airplane now and I don't have Wi-Fi, like happened on my flight to here, I'm really frustrated. I'm thinking, I'm never going to fly this airline again. 3 years ago, I would have been delighted if they had Wi-Fi. That's how quickly expectations change. And that's what's happening in terms of site experience. People expect to be known, understood, and helped personally on our sites and in our apps. So let's talk about it at the high level. And I'm just going to get into 30 examples, 2 per minute, to just give you ideas of how people are doing this today and how it's working. So all of the things that we have worked on for the maybe past 5, 10 years are essential and are not going away. Analytics, A/B testing, usability testing, web design, all of these things are essential. And the result of them is to have a best web experience. And we need that. And you'll see even some of the examples I'm showing you today. They need a lot of work in this area. That's not going away. But the problem with this is, at the end, all that we have is the lowest common denominator, best experience. It's not the best experience for me or for you, it's the best experience for all of us, which means it's not ever going to be exactly the best experience for any one of us. The problem is, each person's unique. And one of the questions for Rand was even around this too, right? All these people are coming to your site with different interests and intent. What do you do? What do you do on the site? You can think about them as segments. You can think about different kinds of personas and different stages of the journey, and that's really useful, and you'll see examples of that. But even more important, even within those segments, each person's unique. They have their own interests, they have their own intent. And that's what personalization is about. Let's be like Netflix. Let's make it be the best experience for me. So this is actually my wife's Netflix feed. I hope she doesn't mind me sharing it. But you can see what she's into. It's totally different probably than any other person's feed out there. So now let's jump into examples. I'm going to go through 30 in 4 different categories. And the first is acquisition. And I'm focused on conversion, not up the funnel, which I love what Rand was talking about. But now you've spent all this time and money and effort, and you've gotten them onto your site, into your app, or perhaps in your email, and you're trying to engage and convert there. So first acquisition, you think someone just first gets to my site. How do I personalize? How do I go to that next step and make it relevant to them beyond just optimizing the whole site? Well, we're doing that today already in landing pages, right? But let's talk about the rest of our site. There's not that much data, but there's some, and there's interesting things you can do. So let's get into the examples. The first one, this is Squaw Valley, and they're personalizing based off of a visitor's location. So if I'm coming from LA versus from Boston, where I'm from, or from the local area, give me a different message that's relevant to me. Make fun of the fact that all winter in Boston we had no snow. There's piles of snow in Squaw Valley this year for once in a while. So make fun of that and get me over there, get me to convert, right? So geo-based on my location. Do it based off of my persona. So if I'm going to Squaw Valley, I have a bunch of kids, I'm looking around the site, I go right to the family-oriented content. The next time I come to that site, or even during that session, just market family-oriented content to me. This is a family site, ski resort. You're going to have fun here. The kids are going to be in a program. Don't worry. And 38% lift by doing that over control for other family-oriented visitors to the site. So controlling for family-oriented visitors. So it works quite well. When someone first gets there, you can figure out the industry and the company that they're from, if it's a B2B example. So leverage that just based off their IP address to say, hey, let's talk to you differently if you're healthcare versus financial services. Same site, different ebooks and the like below, different big picture. Oh, this is for me, I work for a bank. This is for me, I work for healthcare. 34% increase in conversion to a conversation with a salesperson simply by this campaign. Referring source. So I don't guarantee 900% results all the time. There's occasional outliers, but this one really works. So this is an insurance company that we were one of the ones that were on that list there, and they spend a ton of money on advertising. Ton of money on advertising. Many different targeted kinds of ads and email. Person comes across to the site based off of a very well optimized ad, and the rest of the site just talks to them generically, right? Why not take the exact content that is relevant to them from that ad and bring it throughout the site experience? Of course, you're doing that on a landing page, but this is some sub-page down looking in at home insurance, and that title, the bottom, some of the text is all changed based off of the ad that they came in from. So that got my attention over on Google or wherever it was. Keep that same story going across the site. Huge lift. And then one last thing, a smaller example, but gives an example of how creative you can be, is trending, right? So e-commerce type sites, you want to show, you get to the home page, you don't know what else to say, you can't really do deep recommendations, so you're doing trending. But always, if possible, trending for you. So at the beginning, you don't know anything about this person, they just got here, but you do know their geo. So if it's relevant to the site, in this case it's gardening, very relevant, trending in your geo. Right, what's happening in Boston is very different than how it looks right here right now. So you want to be showing me different things. Even cities versus suburbs versus farm area, show me different things. 11% lift, revenue per user lift based off of this. Is this the right, helpful level of depth? Should I go? I'm just going to go through them quick. I figure breadth over depth for this. So now engagement and conversion. So I'm going to give you 10 or 15 examples here. You've got them in the site. They're in that session going to spend 4, 5, 7 clicks with you, or they're coming back over repeat time. What can you do to give them a unique experience, a Netflix-like experience just for them? So classic use case in e-commerce. Everyone, most e-commerce sites has a bar somewhere, often hard to find, of what you previously viewed on the site. Make that bar always available, a little slide out from the side. Make it so it's easy for me to find. This is useful in session, so here we're looking at an example for shoes. If you're looking 14, 15 different shoes within the session, you particularly like these brown sandal ones at the top, but you've looked at 10 others. Where were those brown sandal ones? I don't know, it's hard to find, I give up, I'll go somewhere else. No, it's right here. Based on my engagement, the ones that I was most interested in, the ones I spent the most time in, use engagement and machine learning yourself to show that person the shoe that's right for them. Similarly, considered purchase. I was just recently on a site, Sears, trying to find a dishwasher. It's $400, $500. I wasn't going to buy it right away. Got busy, came back again, came back a third time, and where's the dishwasher that I liked? I spent all this time looking for it, and I can't find it. Had to search around and find it. Eventually I found it and did buy through them, but I could easily have gone to someone else after all that research. Search, huge for, and some of these examples, I'm not allowed to use the actual companies, so these are all real examples. This one was mocked out. But this is another commerce example. Search is quite important, influences 40% of the journeys that we see. And so in this case, this person's been on the site for a while before, and now they're back. When they're on the site, they've only been looking at Adidas stuff, Adidas shoes. Now they're back on the site searching for sneakers. Well, should we show them the prioritized list of the top results for sneakers, which is going to have a bunch of Nike and Converse or whatever other kinds of sneakers? Or should we actually say, no, this guy's interested in Adidas, and we're going to put Adidas results right up at the top so he can just click and convert. This one converts 20% lift over control for that kind of search, optimized search. Many of our sites have lots of content. And again, we're trying to get like Netflix here and make it individually relevant. So think e-commerce sites, you have category pages, you have search result pages. Finance sites, you have lists of different products. Even B2B marketing sites, you have a whole bunch of ebooks, or here's all of our great blog content, or here's all of our great videos that we've had. And they're just sort of shown in kind of random order. Take that, resort it, and show it to the person based, again, off of their interests. So in this case, we're showing it based off of male-female, but also category interests, brand interests, keywords that have been interesting to them, industries that have been interesting to them. Resort it so as they're scrolling, we're all overwhelmed by choice. We've got to move to the top what's most relevant to me. It will convert much better. And in this case, this converts over 20% conversion to purchase in the e-commerce setting by smart sorting category pages. We're all very familiar with kind of more in-your-face types of conversions. We tend to kinds of personalizations and engagements. We try to minimize those as much as possible. There's occasionally times when it makes sense, but when you do it, it's so much more effective if it's personalized again. Instead of the random, hey, I'm going to leave, like I think Rand again was kind of making fun of it, like, don't you want to be a good marketer? No, yes, like, come on. So much better to put content that was relevant to me in there. Hey, you're going to miss out on this, for this particular person. They were really interested in Jimmy Choo. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but type of luxury items. So put that in their face. Hey, you're going to miss out on that. Something relevant to me. This ebook that might be relevant to me converts so much better and is so much less annoying than just the random, hey, you're leaving, let me bug you. This is content that might be interested. Same with email capture. I feel the same way about putting things in front of your face for email capture. It's like you're just meeting someone who might be romantically interesting to you, and 2 seconds into the conversation, you're like, hey, can we kiss? It's like, what? It's never worked for me. I don't know if it's worked for you. But it's off-putting. And most people click through it and go to your site anyway. But it's like, come on, that's going to be my welcome experience on your site? How much better to wait until you got to know me a little bit while we've established some relationship. Maybe it's still within the first session, so it's a 20-second relationship, but still, you got to know me a little bit and then ask. Or maybe as I go to leave then, like in this case, I've been spending all my time, wasn't me, but on these Born Women's boots. And so as I go to leave, say, hey, I'm going to give you an offer for those boots that you spend time on if you give me your email. We're making an exchange here. That's interesting to me. And it's 14%. This is lift conversion to email capture, not to revenue. We already talked about weather, but using weather to target. This is a large HVAC that's talking to me differently based off of the region and getting 23% lift in conversion to purchase based off of talking to hot areas about air conditioners and cold areas about heating, which is pretty obvious. I love this one. This is the same insurance company, and mocked up because we can't use their name, but they are doing the following. So you're on an insurance company site, and by your behavior, with every click, every time spent, everything that you're doing, every mouse movement, you're talking to them and showing your engagement. And we should all be listening and learning from that. From Annie's talk, to me, that's the most compelling and interesting data. Not clicks, because clicks can lie. Engagement. I don't lie with my time. How long am I actually spending? What am I doing? How's my mouse moving? So you grab all of that and say, for this insurance company, let's find the people who spent some time on home insurance and on car insurance. And this insurance company, like most, has bundles around that. But most people don't know that. I didn't actually know that. And so they changed the homepage to look like this, as well as throughout the site, be promoting content around the benefits of a bundled offering. 20% conversion to talk to an agent, which is their goal, by doing that. So really, just paying attention to what you're doing and talking to you about helpful things that might be interesting to you based off of that. Did you know, you looked at this, you looked at that, we have a bundle. I like this one a lot too. I think it's the last one in this section, which is so many of our sites has call to action, and it's so important to optimize those, to measure them and do all of the techniques we talk about here related to them. But it's like the asking for the kiss example. So many sites, it's like, hey, buy now, or Rand was also talking about the salary.com, or B2B sites, which is this example, get a demo now. Well, I just got here. I don't want to talk to your salesperson. So make a progressive call to action, right? Where it's like, first, let's get, do you want to see a video? Oh, you watched a video. Here's another interesting video. Oh, here's an ebook. Oh, here's another ebook that's related to the actual one that you like. Oh, now would you like to talk to somebody? So progressive call to actions, we find over 20% increase in conversion to talking to somebody, to putting your actual name and saying, I want to talk to somebody, versus just hitting them with that right up front. Oh, and then content recommendations. So, classic media sites, content recommendations work, typically over 30%. Watching the time, so I think I'll jump to this one here, which is, so we talked about making every page a landing page, and that's so essential. Landing pages work, we all do them for a reason. The problem is they only work for some percentage. I don't know how good you are, 20, 30, maybe 40%. In phenomenal cases, usually much lower than that, are going to convert on that page. Now, this person we never see them again, but they may come from the landing page to our site, and they may come many times. Now, the site's completely dumb and doesn't know about what, I'm actually going to go back to that one. It doesn't know about what they were interested in. So in this case, we made them an offer through email for 1,000 bonus points for this loyalty program if they come. They clicked on that. They were clearly interested. Now the site, they get to a landing page, they don't convert. Now the site forgets about that offer. Why wouldn't we take that offer and put it in front of them at every step for the rest of their journey? Not obnoxious and not pop-ups in their face, but on the side, maybe a little bar on the top, something subtle that just reminds them, you came here for an offer. That offer still exists. Convert because of it. That's typically 15% conversion for that kind of offer-based reminder, but you can also do it with content as well. So in this case, person comes in with interest for European vacations, spends a lot of time on the site for European vacations, and the site's talking to them about Club Med. It's not going to convert. If you see, it's kind of hard to see. This England winter savings offer comes in from the side and then goes and replaces the Club Med, 17% lift, because it's relevant to their interest and their behavior. You're getting the idea. Abandoned cart works, of course. So that is a time that's frequently used to go in someone's face. Same point as I was making before. Not just when they're exiting just randomly, they're exiting something with something in the cart. It's helpful. My view is always make it helpful. It's here to serve the customer, these kinds of personalizations, but remind them what's in the cart and maybe some other valuable point around that. What a lot of people do, everyone does that. What a lot of people don't do is when you come back to the site, remind them what's in the cart. So few sites do this, and it converts quite well. You don't want to be annoying about it because some people use their shopping cart as like a wish list or a storage place or forget about things. But what we find typically works well here is personalize this to folks who have never purchased from you before and have now come back. And it's their first or second, maybe third time that they've come back with a thing in the cart, bounce it down and remind them of what's in there, but otherwise then leave them alone. All right, so that was a lot on engagement and conversion, trying to get them to that initial raise your hand, give me your email, talk to an agent, talk to a financial service person, or buy something from me in an e-commerce site. How can we upsell and cross-sell them then? So, a lot of what we're trying to do is build an ongoing relationship with people where it's not just a one-time purchase. And remembering them and understanding them becomes more and more important. Personalization just grows in importance for ongoing conversion. Because the longer I'm with you, the more my expectation grows that you know me and you're not just here to spam me or give me a one-size-fits-all experience. So this is kind of the ultimate in that kind of a relationship where it's a logged-in kind of scenario. So this is a company that hosts websites for people. So you build your website with them, and you have a long relationship with them. And then you keep coming back, and you're in their app. And they have a ton of stuff they want to upsell to you. And their basic strategy used to be to spam you with email. Just every day you got another one, buy this upsell, and it got a very low conversion rate. So they switched to saying, no, actually let's let's personalize in the experience and say, let me show you something that's relevant to you. And so they started, in one sense it's kind of crazy. It's like taking the ads off of the site that Rand was showing. But if you stop advertising as much, all of your different upsells, and only target people with what's relevant to them. So in this case, people who spent time looking in their app at the site builder product that was an upsell, but didn't buy it. Now get in their face. This is one test they did. The other was just subtly on the side, which performed a little better, but it's harder for you to see. And 71% lift over control in people signing up and buying that product. And huge increase in overall, I forget the number, but in overall revenue to that product versus spamming everybody. We can do this kind of thing cross-channel. Of course, you want to look at that if you have a travel type site, being able to upsell ancillary products, or in the case of me, I'm always buying the even more seats. So let's pay attention to that behavior of mine. It's a service to me to remind me, because I can get more work done in those seats. It's a service to remind me, hey, you typically, when you buy from us, you typically upgrade to an even more space seat. You didn't in this trip. Would you like to? That's a service to me. It's helping me and is a great personalization. Right in the site, right in the experience. Here's an example of this being done for a resort. And so the family books for the resort, and you want to upsell them amongst a whole group of different packages, right? This is a Mexico vacation. You could go to the spa, could go to Chichen Itza, whatever. There's all sorts of choices. Well, which one do you show? Again, you don't want to show people 50. You don't want to give everyone the same experience. It'll convert low. Well, while they're looking at your site to book the trip, they're browsing around looking at things. This person spent time looking at the spas. Show them that one. Converts way, and I don't have the number on some of these, but it converts way better. All right, so let's talk for a little while about recommendations, because I haven't gotten to that yet. We talked about it a bit for initial conversion, but it's very useful for upsell, cross-sell as well. So there's two main categories of recommendations: content type recommendations and product recommendations that we see on sites. So Netflix being a product or well, I guess content or video type recommendation. So many of the sites that you work with or your sites are doing this kind of thing. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on sort of classic use cases there. Typically, you're going to see a 6-7% revenue per user or average order value bump from just doing classic recommendations. And like this kind of thing, or things you'll also love, which is a little bit cut off on the PDP page. So that's important, and we need to do it. But to take it to the next level, we need to personalize that. So the difference, even in words, we've seen significant difference in the copy from saying, people who bought this also bought that, to this is for you, makes a big difference. But then actually backing that up with the recommendations actually being for you. So not just wisdom of the crowds, but based off of my brand preferences, my price range preferences, my category preferences, those kinds of things, boosting the general recommendations can double the revenue per user average order value lift by taking it to the individual, putting those two things together. So I'll click through a couple examples there. You can, complete the look. It's quite useful. And then the last area I wanted to talk about, you'll get the slides. The last area I want to talk about is long-term relationships. So we are looking to establish loyalty and long-term relationships with our visitors, turning them into customers and loyalists. And again, the more we can understand and know who they are and what they've done and remember them, the more we can give them that relevant, unique experience that converts them. And so what I think we're really trying to go to is this kind of a personalized boutique, a Netflix for you, where the homepage, my XYZ site becomes completely relevant because you looked at this, because you bought this in e-commerce, but also even in a B2B site, here other ebooks because you looked at this ebook. People from your industry have found the following things helpful, right? Financial, we looked at some examples there. So turning the whole site, but particularly special pages, into that Netflix-like experience. Typically, that's converting in the over 25% range. Rewarding and giving loyalty to those who you know. So my experience of Rue La La is not the same as your experience as Rue La La. As I become a very loyal, high-value purchaser, I'm going to get all sorts of treats and delights that are given to me because of who I am. I get custom boutiques for me. I get custom offers for me. And that keeps me coming back and feeling good. Going fast here, I guess I talked too long. Oh, and then the last thing is Annie was talking about this as well. You know, anytime you can get a visitor to fill out a form or give you data, it's like gold. And again, you don't want to ask for it in the first 2 seconds. It's like the first kiss. But as they're spending time with you and you build credibility, and especially the more you're showing them, like we found in this example here, this survey and poll, the more, when the people answer that question, they respond, we give them a little tidbit, a little helpful fact that rewards them, like, you know, okay, we're going to use that data to personalize your site and it's going to be helpful to you. So then the response rate to that survey, instead of them getting tired and it dropping like you would normally expect, goes up. Because you're using it to help me. So the more you can show people, I'm collecting data and I'm using it to serve you, the more they're going to respond, the more they're going to give you, the more valuable your site becomes, and the less likely they're ever going to leave. So personalization takes what we're all doing with site optimization and conversion, and I think takes it to the next level, and it's going to be the focus of the next 10 years to really make every site that's out there the best experience for me. Thanks.